Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is Thursday. It's hard to believe it's already Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Crazy, crazy times. It's already May. Beautiful day. We've had some really beautiful weather. It's kind of like spring, or it is spring now officially. It's actually warm and awesome. Last night it got really chilly. I actually turned the heat on. Had a little jam session rehearsal with a friend, and I had to turn the heat on in my music space. And then later on that night, when I came in to my house to kind of retire for the evening, I had to turn the heat on. It was fucking chilly. But anyway, hope everyone's doing good. I've been knee deep in the world of the Western genre, which I'm a huge fan of, and this has been a lot of fun. I got this big collection about a month ago. I've been working my way through it. I am on my second disc. I think this might be the sixth movie in this whole series. And what I'm doing is basically I'm doing coverage of all of these movies. There's 20 movies in this collection. And so far, they've all been actually really awesome. And the variety of westerns has been pretty awesome. There's a lot of there's some American westerns, mostly older films. I did a big show, or I did some show. I did a show or two the other day on a John Wayne film, and also a Roy Rogers film. So, and these films were from like the 40s. So going back, classic, American westerns, and there's also been some really awesome spaghetti western, Italian exploitation movies on here too, which I haven't had never seen before. All of these movies so far, I this is my first time watching any of them, so it's been really awesome, and everyone has been great, and there's been again a lot of variety to these movies. And the movie I'm going to talk about today, I think so far might be my favorite one. I did a show on another movie before called I think it was called Boot Hill from 1969, which was another Italian kind of more gritty exploitation movie, western, and really great. I really love that one. I just naturally gravitate towards the more raw kind of spaghetti western films. They're just awesome. And but I think today's show, the movie I'm going to be talking about so far might be my favorite. It's really violent and all around just my cup of tea or a cup of coffee in this case because I'm still drinking coffee. And I'd say too before I get into this movie, I for the most part these movies I would buy some of these on Blu-ray. These movies are, at least the way I'm watching them, and this collection, they're all DVDs. Not really great quality, but worth having. And I've been really enjoying this whole kind of journey into watching these films for the first time. Again, it's kind of the thing I kind of brought it up a little bit in a video yesterday. But it's when I'm into a genre of film, it really happened for me big time in the horror genre because horror is my favorite genre, and I really did a lot of deep diving and went down a rabbit hole as far as horror films, and then also horror films in general, as far as like tracing back kind of the origins of where this amazing genre kind of started or came from. I also did learned a lot about films that have practical effects. When it comes to horror films, I'm a huge practical effects guy, and tracing that back too to where the origins of that, and discovering so many new things, and seeing the kind of where the lineage goes back to a certain point where it is kind of mind blowing. And the same thing with the slasher genre, which is my favorite kind of subgenre in horror. Did the same thing, and so that brought me to discover a whole ton of new movies and a whole new world of understanding or in coming discovering new directors and seeing how these things actually go back decades. So super cool. And so that's kind of what this is for me with westerns, where it's a genre that I really really love, and tracing it back to see where a lot of these films and the genre itself kind of originated, and where it developed, and then where it's gone to, the places it went as a genre. But today's show is on a movie that is, again, I think this might be my favorite one in the collection so far. It's really really cool. Again, there's a lot more movies to watch and discover, so I will, I'm sure there'll be some other big surprises. I have not been let down by any of these movies at all. They've all been really great. Some I like more than others, but anyway, this movie today is This Man Can't Die from 1968, and it was directed by Gianfranco Badalamenti. And this is a pure kind of Italian spaghetti western, a pure Italian kind of exploitation western film. It's great, and it's essentially a revenge movie. This undercover agent who kind of works for the government his sister is killed, is raped, and then his family is killed by this group of these really brutal bandits that are involved in gun running and just kind of massacring all of these innocent people. The villains in this film that are the antagonists are really menacing and brutal. They all like wear black leather gloves, and they just kill kind of anything that walks or breathes. Like, I don't know. This movie is really great. There's a lot of great action in this movie, and again, it's from 1968. Pure Italian spaghetti western cinema. Massive fan of spaghetti westerns. Obviously Sergio Leone was the first director in the genre that I kind of discovered. I kind of feel like he's equivalent to, like, Sergio Leone is probably like kind of equivalent to what Dario Argento is to horror, because it's like, a lot of Americans, people growing up like myself, we all got exposed to some capacity, or to at some point, to Suspiria, and that movie really put Dario Argento on the map. And I've seen in my travels online, and just people I've talked to, Dario Argento is kind of a household name. Like most people out there that maybe haven't, really, say, explored European horror cinema, a lot of exploitation movies, and in this case, Italian cinema. People who are in that state, who haven't, maybe taken the time to really explore, the works of like Mario Bava, or, Jess Franco, or Lucio Fulci. Dario Argento, most people know who he is, and across the boards, because of the popularity of Suspiria, and that's a classic film. And that can act as like a gateway to kind of want to, well, it did for me, but wanting to explore that style even more. And I think Sergio Leone is the same equivalent to, I think, spaghetti westerns. Those movies were really, really popular, and I feel like it's the same kind of situation. People who haven't maybe taken the time to really explore spaghetti westerns and all of the Italian kind of western exploitation movies that came out in the 60s and 70s. Pretty much everybody and their grandmother knows who Sergio Leone is. So it kind of can act as a catalyst or a gateway to want to explore those things even more, which is something I feel like well, I've been wanting to do more. I've been wanting to buy more and to dive further into the Italian westerns. And this movie, This Man Can't Die, is it's great. It's by a director I'd never heard of before. There's a bunch of actors in it that I'd never really seen before. It's really gritty. It's super raw. It's pretty nasty. Uh, really great violence. It's a great kind of classic revenge story. The payoff is really comes at the end. It's a really great gunfight and battle with the protagonist and antagonist, the guy who is seeking revenge. Really awesome movie. And again, quality is not very good. These DVDs are kind of shit. The it feels like they were burnt copies of a burnt copy, and then some company just decided to put them all together, and make a quick buck and put them all together in a box set more or less and put them out, and that's what this is. But this movie was really awesome, and I have to say it's probably my favorite so far in the lot. I'm looking forward to seeing what these other movies are going to offer too. There's a lot more to go. So I'm gonna, the next, I don't know, it's gonna be a total of 20 videos. So the next bunch of shows that I'm gonna be doing for this channel is gonna be covering all of these movies. But very, very cool movie. I definitely recommend it. The man, This Man Can't Die from 1968. Really awesome spaghetti western. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.